All right, kids, welcome to the CUNY application. So first things first, we're going to scroll down and we're going to get to the apply now section and we're going to click on start your app. Then we're going to go, I would like to apply as a freshman applicant. And we are going to put freshman application. If you're doing Macaulay Honors, it's a separate process that will be in a different video. Okay, now we're going to hit next. Now that you are at the application sign on, you are going to do register now because you're a new applicant. You don't have a CUNY application on file. You're going to go to register now and you're going to fill out all of these details, right? So they need your first name, middle name, last name, your date of birth, your gender, email address. Then you're going to create a username and a password. Make it something you're going to remember. And please, for the love of God, write it down, right? So you should have a notebook or you should be using some form of Google Doc or notes app that's on your phone. You need to be using something to collect this data because this is not going to be the last time that you have to go into this application site. So you want to make sure that you have the username and password written down so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you come to this thing. Once you've done that, you're going to come back to this page. You're going to put in your username and password that you've just created, and you're going to go into your application. All right, you're in the application. So you want to make sure your name is correct, and then you're going to move forward. Some of these fields will already be provided for you because of what you put in your registration details. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel because it'll already be here. But what is not there, you want to make sure you fill in. You want to make sure that you have a good mobile number in there for you, right? Someplace where they can contact you if they have to send you a text, if they need to call you for any reason, that it is a valid number. Also, that your email address is one that you check that is not your school email, right? For any of your college applications, you should not be using your school email. You need to use your personal email, one that you check, just because when you graduate, your school email will disappear. Also, for every page that you pass, you want to make sure you hit save. That way, they can save your progress. So if you have to go back in or you can't finish at one sitting, you can always come back to your progress. You're going to add your address. Once you add your address, you're going to check any one of the boxes below. So it says check here if your mailing address is different from the above address. So if where you live is different from where you get your mail at, you want to check that box. Check here if your permanent address is different from the above address, or check here if your billing address is different from the above address. Okay, so you would check whichever applies to you. Then you're going to hit save. Now for residency, you're going to check off what applies to you. So we have New York State resident for the last 12 months or more, New York City resident for the last 12 months or more, New York State high school graduate within the last 5 years, New York City high school graduate within the last 5 years, or I am none of the above. And none of the above only applies to people with different immigration statuses. The ones that are here is F1 or J1. If you're F1 or J1, you would check the bottom. Okay. But if you are a New York City public school student and you reside in New York State, most likely these couple of ones are going to be checked off. Okay, so I would check off these. Then we have country of citizenship. For me, it's the US. For you, it could be something else, right? If you were born in another country, you want to make sure you update that. And you want to make sure that you have your country of birth. Okay, so you should make sure that both of those are checked off and that you have them there. If you have a social security number, you are going to add your social security number here. If you do not have a social security number, meaning that you are undocumented or have an immigration status that allows you to not have a social security card at this time, you're going to check off the box that says you do not have a social security number. Okay. U.S. military status, most likely if you're in high school, this does not apply to you, so you can move on. You can save everything you have from here and just go to next. Your ethnicity, you can answer however you choose to. Whatever applies to you is what you are going to put. You're going to add that there. You're going to save everything you have up until this point, and you are going to hit next. Okay. What is your native language, right? You are going to put your native language here. Sometimes people's native language differs from where they are, right? So here in America, we speak English, but obviously we speak lots of other languages. So you're going to put whatever your native language is. And if you speak another language, you're going to put that there. Okay. Now we have a spot for family information, and this information is optional. If you want to add a parent, right? So if your parents are married and living together and you want to add them on your application, you can. If you just want to add mom, if you just want to add dad, it is optional. It is not a have to, but if you want to, you can. Now for the college and major, right? So this is where you actually start picking the schools. Remember, for the CUNY application, you get to pick 6 schools for the lovely price of $65. If you catch them during their free application period, which is usually sometime in October to November, you want to, still add your schools, but the only difference is you won't pay a dime. Okay, so usually if you don't catch one of those periods, it will be $65, but you get 6 schools for that price. So right now I'm going to put the term is going to be for the fall of 2025, right? You put whatever term matches where you are, right? So if you see this video after this time and it's like fall 2026, right? Like you definitely want to make sure that you pick the right term. Most students start in the fall, but there are also some students who will start in the spring. For most high school students who are going to be freshmen in fall of 2025, it will be the fall 2025 term. Then I'm going to add college and academic programs. So I'm going to look up the colleges that I want. Now, what I will tell you, and I'm going to include a link below, there is a great page for CUNY that shows you what schools have what major. So if you have a specific major in mind and you want to kind of look that up before you start doing that, that is best practice, right? Kind of figure out what schools have what you want before you do this application process. But if you know what schools you want to put on your list, then you can start adding them here, right? So if I put Baruch and let's say I want to do something in accounting because they are known for, their business stuff. I'm going to put it there. I found it. I'm going to put it up there. Now, I will say sometimes all the majors for the schools are not there, right? And so you want to pick something close and you can change it when you get into the school. So it's not make or break, okay? The other thing is that if you notice for Baruch has a program requirement, and we want to pay attention to the program requirement because they're telling you exactly what they need. So they need students who are applying for their school to pick one of 3 essay questions, and you answer it, and there's going to be a place for you to add your essay, but they're letting you know up front, in order to get in here, you have to provide an essay. I believe is the case for also Hunter. So let's see if Hunter also has that requirement. Yep, Hunter has a supplemental question. and also a test option. So they're asking you if you want to submit SAT or ACT scores as part of your application. And they're also asking you if you want to be in any of the pre-professional programs that are listed. So I'll put pre-business for this purpose. I can say I don't want to put my SAT score if I don't feel like my SAT scores are high enough. I don't have to submit them, but I can submit them as well. Okay. And they're letting me know that this one is also as a requirement, right? But there are some schools, many of the 2-year colleges, aka the community colleges, do not have an essay requirement, but a lot of the 4-year colleges do. Okay, so let's try Lehman. Let's see what Lehman is giving. Lehman does not have an essay requirement, okay? So you want to make sure that you are checking to see which of these schools have one. They're going to list them, and then you need to get started on that essay ASAP, okay? For the purpose of this, I'm not going to add all 6 schools, but like I said before, you have the option of adding all 6. All right, so we have 2 programs here. We have the ASAP program and the Seek and CD program. So let me explain what these programs are. So ASAP is a program that provides additional support to students. And this is for students who are planning to go specifically to a 2-year college, right? So if you're going to a 2-year college, it's called ASAP. If you are going to a 4-year college, it's called ACE. With this, you get an advisor, you get a Metro card, you get help with your books, and you get tons of support, right? I would say yes and let them turn you down, but always say yes to this one. Even if you're not really sure about it, say yes, because if you qualify for the ASAP program, right, you can get this support. And it's really difficult in your first year of college, so you want to have as much support as possible. So I'm going to say yes to this. Seek and CD is also another program that is very similar to ASAP. It's actually the thing that came first. And the Seek and CD program has a financial aid component to it. It is also based on need, right? So students that have a bigger demonstrated need will be able to get into this program. So students who are prioritized are students who are homeless or in foster care, but also families that are low income can qualify for this program. So if you feel like you qualify, say yes. Even if you don't, just say yes, right? And let them make the determination. Moving forward to financial aid questions, right? So this is about work study. So work study used to be included in the financial aid application. So in the FAFSA used to be in there and they took it out. So now they have this question for each college. Each college is going to ask you this, not just CUNY, because work study is a program that you have to apply for. You have to say yes, right? It's an opt-in program. So if you don't opt in the beginning, they're not going to give it to you later. So you want to make sure you let them know who you're going to be living with for the upcoming academic year. Most students that go to CUNY usually live at home with a parent, right? Are you interested in being considered for federal work study? Heck yeah. Okay. Like I said, it's an opt-in program. If you don't say yes at this juncture, they're not going to consider you. So you make sure you say yes. Anytime you see work study presented to you, you say yes, yes, yes. Now we're going to talk about your high school, right? And so they want you to indicate your high school information, right? If you attended more than one high school, then you're going to add that information there as well. So if you attended a U.S. high school, you're going to click the first one. For students who are, if you came from another country, right, and then continued your education in the U.S., you are definitely going to be on the hook for sending them in your information, okay? So they're going to check for this information. If you are in a New York City public school, they can get your records at the end of the year. They can get your transcripts. But for anybody who is like in a charter or a private school, you will have to send in those documents. So please understand that, okay? Then you're going to do the high school search and you are going to look for your school. Okay. You're going to add in those details. If you know your school's CEEB code, and this you can get from your counselor, usually they'll have it somewhere posted in the office. So make sure you look for that because it might be there. Okay. So I'm going to put in my old high school. And I'm going to see if it pops up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The CEB code is actually the easiest thing. If you can find your CEB code, it is probably the easiest way to find it. Sometimes they'll be like, what school, when, right? And then you're going to put in the dates that you attended. If you got a degree, right, and that's for students who may have dual enrollment, maybe you got a degree and high school diploma at the same time, whatever have you, they're going to ask you for that information. If that does not apply to you, you're just going to put when you started high school, and then the to date is going to be when you graduate high school, right? So that graduation date for most New York City public school students is somewhere around here. Right? It doesn't have to be exact or accurate. Just has to let them know that in the spring semester you will graduate sometime, right? So you definitely want to let them know that. They will know that you did not finish just by what you put there. So if I had to go 4 years back, I'm just gonna add something random here just because I've been doing this. I'm done. So I'm just going to add something here. And you guys are going to do the same thing. You're going to put in your OSIS number. Now, this is how the CUNY schools are able to get your transcript automatically, right? So they can't get it automatically if you don't put in your 9-digit OSIS number. So you want to make sure your OSIS number is in there. Okay. I think this was my OSIS number from a long time ago. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to now be in a spot where I have to list the courses I'm currently taking, right? If we look at the side here, right, I'm almost done with this application. So now it only needs me to do a few more things, right? So I'm going to put my courses that are in progress. So what are the classes that I'm currently taking as a senior? And I'm just going to put whatever those classes may be. I'm just going to add them here. If your classes are not there, just put as close as you can get it. Remember, they're going to get your transcript at some point. So just put whatever you think matches what is on your actual program, right? Because some of this stuff may or may not be on your actual program right now. So you're going to put all the classes that you're taking at this moment. If you did any college or university coursework, right? Some people may have did like a College Now program, or maybe they did something over the summer at another private college or something. You can add that there. If you've attended and gotten grades for some of the classes that you have taken, just know that you will also have to submit a transcript for those classes if you want to get any credit for them later as well. Now we have our recommendations, right? Some schools require them, not all of them, right? But many of the schools, especially the ones that ask for an essay, those schools are absolutely going to need a recommender in order to pass your application through. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to add a person's name. I'm just going to add somebody random, but you are going to put in whoever, if it's your school counselor, um, if it is your teacher, whoever it is that will be writing for you, you are going to make sure that you put that in there. You get the option of adding an advisor, a coworker, a coach, colleague, or peer. We don't want that. We're going to stick with the advisor, coach, community leader, or member, college counselor or guidance counselor, employer or supervisor, teacher, professor, or faculty. We're going to stick with those, right? Colleague or peer, we're not going to add those people, okay? If you want to waive your right to examine this letter of recommendation, so that means that you are not able to see what they write about you, you're going to put yes, you want to waive your rights. Because of FERPA, technically you're not supposed to be able to see your recommendation beforehand. So you're going to put yes, and that means that when that person is added, right? What they're going to do is they're going to send a message to that person on the other end, right? So I'm going to click add. I'm not going to do it for now, just because this isn't a real person, and I don't want, if this is a real person's email, I don't want it to go to them. But they're going to send them something on the back end to let them know that that you have requested a recommendation letter from them. Okay, so I'm just going to put save, and I'm going to go to next. But you are going to make sure that you put add for that part. Okay. Now, extracurricular activities. This is where it gets fun. We want to make sure that we show that we are well rounded, right? That we do stuff after school, before school, on the weekend. So we're going to add whatever is closest to what we've actually done, what is posted on our resumes. We want to make sure that we are staying as close to that as possible, right? And then in the comments, I want you to be very specific about what this club, this activity, what is it? How are you involved? They want to see that. Sometimes I see people, they put the activity types, but they do not put nearly enough information about like what this club or activity is. And you want to make sure you stay away from that and you put as much detail as you can about each activity that you have. So if you're in a bazillion activities, right? You want to make sure that you put good details for each activity. Does that mean that you have to give a dissertation, meaning like 25 pages? No, right? But you want to have a good response for each of your activities. Okay, for example, I picked college readiness program and I put the dates that I was involved, and then I put prep for college and other opportunities with mentors and other staff members, worked on essays, resumes, and building academic portfolio. So there is no confusion of what I did in this program, what I accomplished. It is very clear of what happened. I want you to do this for every extracurricular activity you put on this application. Got it? Good. Now we have a spot to update our supporting materials, right? So if we have our essays that are required by the colleges that Baruch and Hunter required those essays, I'm going to upload those essays here, right? If I have anything that I think will be something that will support me or something that's going to give me a leg up, right? If I have a resume, if I have a personal statement, whatever can push you over the top, you definitely want to include it here, right? You're going for something art related. Maybe you have a portfolio that has links to things you've created, or maybe you have video reels of things that you've done on stage, right? Like, you want to make sure all those things are included because they can absolutely help your application. And the last piece of the puzzle is paying, right? They are not going to, I promise you, and I kid you not, they will absolutely not review your application if they don't get their money first. Okay. So, what we can do, we can pay now. And if we pay now, they're going to give you the option of being able to use a credit or debit card. So, you can make a payment now, click on this, and you will be sent to somewhere where you're going to be able to pay, right? And so this is how they will collect their money. Let's say I go back to that fee payment part, right? And I really don't have the money right now. I can put pay later, but please understand that if it is not paid immediately, they will not review your application. Okay. So if you are not able to pay at the moment, then you can put pay later and then come back into the application when you do have the payment. Okay. If you have a fee waiver, which fee waivers are, they are going to be given out, but your best bet is if you catch a free application period. You don't have to put anything in here. You can put pay later and just keep it moving. As long as they catch you within that time frame, they will know exactly that your application is supposed to be free and there's nothing for you to do. If you are past that and you get a fee waiver, you're going to click on I have a CUNY issued fee waiver, and they're going to ask you the number of that fee waiver. Okay. So I'm going to put pay later for the purpose of this application. I'm going to put save. And I'm going to hit next, and I have to certify that everything is true and correct, based, to the best of my knowledge, that everything is true and correct. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to hit submit, right? Once you hit submit, you will get a message from the CUNY folks to let you know that they have your application and they're going to review it. If for any reason they need some things from you, when you go back into the application page, they are going to show you all the things that are outstanding so you can get them in as soon as possible. But that was the whole application. See how easy peasy it was? You got this, I got you, right? Let me know if this video helped you. Please give it a like. Please share with anybody else who needs to complete their CUNY application, and I'll see you on the next one.